Hey everyone, Mike here for another Dwarf Fort tutorial. This is the new fort that I've been working on off screen. It's a lot more organized than what the last fort was. It's got nothing too new in it. I'll show you a few of the new features in it, but if you've been paying attention to the other tutorials, it's all the same stuff, like the farm and the stockpiles and the bedroom. Anyway, I'll start a tour of what there is. So over here is a dining room, and over here's the dormitories. I just decided to separate them this time. Up here is going to be a place for trading, and I'll get into that later on in the video. Down here is all the food stuff. We got food workshops. We have the kitchen here for making meals, a fishery to work with the fish our fisherman catches, and he's right there actually. A still for making booze. A farmer's workshop, which it helps with more of the advanced stuff with other crops, and another still, because later on in the fort you're gonna need a lot of booze. Over here, just some stockpiles for food. There's general food, drinks, and prepared food. Over here are the farms and a seed stockpile. Down here is a big wood stockpile, wood stock, and just noticed that. And here's a furniture stockpile for early on that I built just to get everything inside. There's a nice little main room here that leads to the main staircase, and this is going to be a gate that we'll set up later on in the video. Down a level is nothing, and here's the new industry level. This is where workshops will go, and they're all sorted depending on what industry they're going to be doing. Like here's masonry and carpentry, over here's crafting and gem working, and up here is going to be the metal industry. And if I need more workshops for anything else, I'll just dig out some more. And over here is just storage. Again, more room to just dig out in case I need it, and more room for stockpiles right here. Down another layer, here's mines. We got a lot of good minerals, like there's iron ore here and some copper too. Then up here's a lot more room for digging that I set for later. Then we go down a few more levels, and this is where the bedrooms are going to be. If I didn't say last time, you want your bedroom level to be at least 4 layers away from any level that'll be making noise, otherwise your dwarfs will be unhappy. So this is where the bedrooms are going to eventually be. There's also going to be a dining room and barracks up here later on, but for now I just carved out a whole bunch of rooms. Also, there's a few new things, like in the go back to the industry level. The craft dwarfs, if I didn't say this already, in fact, because I don't really rewatch the videos too often, but if I didn't talk about pots, just do Q, add new task, rock, make rock pot, and you're gonna want like a whole lot because they're food storage, which means that instead of having one food take up one tile in your stockpiles, you could put like dozens of things in one pot, and it just only takes up one tile. So, and you need them to be able to make booze, so it's important to build them out of pots. Otherwise, you're gonna have to be building wooden barrels, and that's a waste of wood, I think. Anyway, right now, if you noticed, I have the craft dwarf workshops making rock crafts set to repeat, both of them. And this is because I've been playing this to the point where we're nearing the end of summer, and that means that a trade caravan is going to be coming soon. And it's very important that we have exports to sell to them, so that we can get more things that we couldn't normally make in our fort. Like once I trade, I'll show you some of the things that we'll be importing. And just like helpful things, like you just build these things on the side, and when the caravan comes you get pretty much a bunch of free stuff. And over here we have the cutting of gems. The reason that there's all different and set on repeat is because you have to pick each individual gem to be cut. I think it's a good thing the list is only as long as whatever gems are on the map, so it's not every single gem in the game. So what I do is I just do add new task, and then all the way on the right here there's a C and an E. If it's grayed out, that means you can't use it, but if it's white, that means you can do it. If it's highlighted for C, that means there's some to be cut, and if it's E, that means they can be encrusted. And what you do is you make a rock craft, which is like a bracelet or a figurine or something, and then you have a cut gem, and you're able to take the gem and put it into the craft, and that raises the value. And if you make enough of them, then you can make a lot of money. So that's the main way I make money. There are probably other ways, but it works the most. You really don't need much more than that. So next part, what I want to do is explain how we got migrants. if we go to Dwarf Therapist right here, you'll notice that in these migrant waves we have 9 new dwarves. And what basically happens is that every season, near the end of each season, about a whole wave of migrants will come, and they come in groups of 2 to up to 20 something, like around 21 or 22. I think I've gotten only 21 as the most in a single wave. And that's pretty much the main way to get more dwarves. Every once in a while your dwarves will get married and have a kid, but it takes so long for them to grow up that this is really your main way of getting more dwarves, is that they just come migrating here. Now I want to get into mechanics. So if you go down to the industry layer, we go to build workshops, just like always, and now we hit T for mechanics workshop. And what mechanics are, Dwarven mechanics, you use them for all sorts of things, like levers for all sorts of stuff and traps. I think those are the main uses. There's probably more, and the fans will probably get me for that. Anyway, we're going to build it out of obsidian, which is the main rock on this map. And it's not like Minecraft, so I don't think it's indestructible stuff. It's just like any other rock. So our mechanic will get to work on that. We'll resume, just see who the mechanic is. So if I didn't show this off last time, if you just double click on a certain job, whoever is the most skilled in it will pop up. So we have 2 mechanics. One of them we brought with us, and the other one is a farmer too. So I'll just make him a mechanic also. So while we're waiting for that, when I was talking about the trade depot here, we'll actually build it now, because I didn't. So I think it's capital... No. Sorry guys. Oh no, capital D. That's the trade depot, and this is pretty big. So I built a nice little 7x7 room, because this is a 5x5 building. And I made a nice big path to it, because for the caravan to get there, which is pretty much a group of merchants, they need at least a 3x3 walkway area. So if you notice from right here, that's more than enough room for them to get here. And in these rooms we'll make stockpiles for the finished goods. So I'll make this out of 3 obsidian. And trade depots are made, like certain buildings, they need architecture. So what I do is just give everybody architecture, because you really don't need any skill in it. And instead of wasting time waiting for your specific architect to get there, whoever's free at first will just build it. Well, they don't actually build it, they design it, and then the real person builds it. I think we're gonna have the mason build it, because it's out of rock. Anyway, the refuse stockpile here, of course. And I have all these rocks getting dumped. Again, I'm not sure if I showed you this, guys, but I have a little garbage dump right here, which you make with a zone, just like that, and then you can just hit G for a garbage dump, but I don't want that, so I'm gonna remove the zone before that causes too much confusion. Anyway, what you do is, if you hit D, B, D, you get the highlight things get dumped. And I have all these rocks highlighted, and any dwarf with hauling enabled will just carry the stone into the garbage dump. And the nice thing about the garbage dumps is that you can store an infinite amount of items in a single spot. It's one of those weird, like, quantum not making sense things, like dwarven physics. I don't know, there's like an actual Wikipedia page about it. You can go check that out on the Dwarven wiki. Anyway, then just to get things back, you hit D and B, and it's already set to default for reclaim, because when they're in the dump, they're not allowed to touch them. So every once in a while you just highlight over the dump like that, and you can pick all the stuff up, and you have an unlimited supply of rocks wherever you want. So we'll get back to work. And that's getting built. So now I'm going to make it so finished goods come here, of like the actual stuff that we want to trade. So we hit G for a finished goods stockpile. We'll make it that big. Now we'll actually specify the stuff inside with Q. So S, change settings to finished goods. So the type, that's alright. So we don't want to sell chains, flasks. Goblets will sell, musical instruments, toys. Armor we want, footwear, headwear. So yeah, all these things are pretty much useless that we don't need. So they'll be getting sold because our craft stores make it, and they sell for good prices. So we don't want to sell any sort of rocks, so F to forbid that, or metal, or any of that. And this just says the type of quality. We'll just set that, because we could specify it, but we really don't need to. So this will just bring all the useless stuff that we don't need. That's all the stuff that's allowed. So that's done. Now if we go back down to the industry level, we can do the same thing here to change settings so that those specific things aren't here. So goblets, musical instruments, toys, we want all that. Amulets, scepters, crowns, rings, earrings, bracelets, large gems. So that's just stuff that we'll be exporting. And another thing that you're going to want to build, if I didn't show you this last time, are these things called bins. It's pretty much like pots, but instead of just being for food, it could be for any sort of item. So that's where like metal and weapons and stuff is going to get stored. So you're going to want to build a lot of them, and you can only make them out of wood or metal, which kind of sucks. But still, there's enough wood. So we'll let that finish working. Wait for our mechanic to build the workshop. And in the meantime, we're going to want to build a gate for our front door. And the way we do that is we build a bridge with B, no, not capital G, just G. And again with UMKH, we can just set it, and even though it says it's a bridge, we can still use that as a gate. So you just place it on the floor like that. Oh, and with WASD it says which way it raises up, so we want it to close like a wall. So if we say it, if we hit D, it'll raise to the right, which means that when it's up, right now you can walk past it, but the way the bridge works is when it's retracted, whichever way it raises becomes a solid wall and nothing can get through. So if we ever have an emergency, we can just raise the bridge and this part will become a solid wall and nothing can get in or out. So we'll just place that there, and we need to make it, I guess we'll make it out of microline, which is blue. So good. I also built a few workshops outside. The butcher and tanner, because the butcher, when you do that, things can get smelly and rotten inside. And it's better to have, and when we have smelly rotten stuff, like I said, a gas will start appearing and spreading out. But it doesn't happen if it's outside, so I just built these outside, but still need the entrance so it's safe. And then the tanner for tanning hides right away. So we'll let our dwarves continue, check on the mechanics. Where's our mechanic? She's drinking. Making crafts. It's not our mechanic. This guy is. He's planting seeds. Oh, whoa, 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 what was that? They just suspended. Item blocking. Oh. It's because when items are getting dumped, normally they would move rocks out of the way so that then there's room for it, but if it's getting dumped and another dwarf all the way, really far away, decides to move it, if they don't move it by the time they want to build it, technically the dwarf building it isn't allowed to touch it, so they suspend it. So if that ever happens, just hit S again, and now it's active again. And sometimes I just keep saying that again and again, which is a sad part. Dwarf fortress. Yeah, they're running out of certain type of gems, but it doesn't really matter, because once they run out, they'll just move on to the next one. And this person just keeps encrusting them. If we hit K to view all these things, Realgar figurine of dwarves. If you view it and hit V, you get a nice little description. You can do this for everything. This is a Realgar figurine of dwarves. The item is an image of dwarves in Realgar, which is probably like some clothes or something. Another Realgar bracelet, amulet, ring, scepter. So yeah, just like little knick-knack furniture things. No, not furniture, like jewelry. We have plump helmets and cave wheat growing. So actually, yeah, we'll build some querns, which are basically little stone grinders that grind up flour and ground up wheat into flour. So Q for some querns, just 3 should be enough. And the task for that would be milling. So once the querns are built, we'll just build them like any other furniture, except that you use them as workshops, which is nice. So yeah, they're running out of gems again. Waiting for our mason. And the bridge is about to finish. Let's see, yep. Our mechanics workshop is done, so we'll just add a new task And really, other than making a traction bench, which is just a specific item for healthcare, which we'll be getting into way later on when we have a lot more dwarves, you can just make basic mechanisms here. And you're gonna need them a lot, so just make rock mechanisms and your mechanic will just build them. So 10 should be enough for now. We don't need too many. Actually, just so he's not too busy, we'll just build 3. So, should be done soon. Yeah, if we're going to want to be able to retract it, we're going to need mechanics. Mechanisms to actually hook it up and lift and raise it. And if you notice in the little chicken room here, we have a whole bunch of chicks around, and the way I did that is if you hit T, it shows what's inside a building. And inside nest boxes, as soon as you assign a chicken to a nest box, it'll lay an egg right away. And if you're quick enough, as soon as you see it do there, just quickly hit T, and you might see eggs in here. And if you highlight over the eggs and hit F to forbid it, dwarves won't pick it up and put it in the food stockpile and eat them. So that'll give them time to hatch into a whole bunch more chickens. So I did that just to show you guys in case you ever need more chickens, which could be helpful, because like anything could always kill them, like goblin invasion. So now you have some backup, and they'll just walk around the fort. Because if you're not careful and you forget to set a stockpile that gets eggs, like hundreds of eggs will just pile up and all hatch. And then when those chickens start laying eggs, you can't play the fort anymore. That's a way to lose because of your stockpile. So yeah, right there's the bin, and if we view inside of it, you can see that they're storing a whole bunch of items in there. And up here, they're not moving things to here, which sucks, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, the trade depot's almost done. The bridge is done. Let's see, there's our dwarf making mechanisms. Let's see what everyone's doing. Dig, dig, dig. Oh yeah, the mine. Now that my miners... Oh no, wait, they are doing things. Never mind. They gotta cut all this bedroom out. It sucks. Alright, the mechanisms are done. So the way we do this is we go to B. What is it? L? Nope. Build. Sorry, there's this group for mechanisms. Oh no, traps levers. And which is capital T, I think. So we just build a lever, and we'll put it right here, so it's nice and convenient. Obsidian mechanisms. So yeah, a lever costs 1 mechanism, and then if you want to link it to a bridge afterwards when it's done, you need 2 mechanisms. So that's why we built 3. So our mechanic will come and set that up. Any second now. What's he doing? Let's see. Dwarves. One of the mechanics is planting seeds, and the other is sleeping. So this might take a while, but I'll show you when we're done. Anyway, now that we're done with this, what we do is we wait for the caravan to come, and he comes around the end of summer, and it's actually around the end of summer now, so I'm hoping he'll come in this video, and if not, I'll just pause it until he does show up, because I am showing you trading mechanisms in this game. So once he shows up, I'll explain what to do. Okay, I think the lever's done. So now, with levers, just like buildings, you gotta add a new task. And all these are linking up to different things. So we want to link it to a bridge, we hit B. It'll scroll through all the ones that we have with plus and minus, but we only have 1, so it's right here. So we just hit enter to assign. We gotta pick 2 mechanisms for it to use. So now that's its job. So once that's done, basically the way that you pull these is you add a task, and the main task is to pull the lever. And when that's assigned, any dwarf that's in the area will just pull the lever, and it gets done. And if you want to pull it again, you have to assign it again. And yeah. So the rocks are getting cleared out here. Just make those free to use. We're almost done with the bedrooms. And we got a kitten. Distribunite. What's that? So now let's go check the wiki. So Wikipedia. No, not that. Dwarf Fortress wiki. Let's see, what was that called? Stribnite. See, I don't even know what this is. Probably spelled it wrong. No, Stibnite. Alright, Stibnite is an unremarkable white stone. Man, it looked like metal. It's a ripoff. So just for demonstration, if we add a new task, capital P to pull the lever, that's it, just escape done, and someone will pull it. Hopefully no one's on the bridge when it happens. Oh, God. Oh, no, never mind, we're good. Because the thing is, with bridges, if you're on the end of the bridge when it gets pulled up, it's pretty much a catapult, which is pretty funny. Now this is the more dangerous part. If the bridge comes down and anything's under it, it just gets deleted, so they call that the atom smasher. You can see all these ridiculous things on the wiki. So we'll just pull it again so that then it gets pulled down. Hopefully no one's under it. And slam, it goes down. So just like that. Anyway, I showed you everything except for trading the video, so I'm just gonna pause it until the caravan arrives. Alright, I'm back, and the caravan just arrived from the most recent announcement. Right about here. He's right here. So just watch him come over. And this is a brook, so they'll be able to go over it, but you might want to build a bridge eventually. So here they come, making their way to the fort. And they're walking inside. Right to our trade depot. So now they've arrived and are unloading the goods. Now what we're going to need is, if you remember when we embarked, we gave some skills to be a good broker to our leader. So we got to actually assign him to be the broker. So right here it says, for all nobles, by the way, are like special jobs that only one person gets. So you want to assign them wisely, and all like relevant skills are set on the right here, and it'll sort it by who will be the most useful. So obviously this person has the best negotiating skills, so we'll just like we planned, we'll assign him to be the noble. He doesn't really need any requirements, but eventually nobles, I'll get into them later on, they need like offices and like good rooms, otherwise they're gonna start just being really corrupt and ruining your fort. So now that he's assigned, what we do is we go over here with Q and we hit R, and that requests the trader. So that's done. Let's go check on where they are. So right now our trader's sleeping, which is unfortunate. Oh, we just got taken by a mood. So what happens is that basically sometimes dwarves, they'll just randomly get possessed, and that means that they get sudden inspiration to build something. So now what this dwarf's gonna do is he's gonna take over some kind of shop. Alright, so he hijacked the craftsdwarf shop, and when that happens, you can't do anything. It says that he's been possessing it. So now he's gonna go around and start collecting items. So hopefully he collects items, because once he starts construction, he makes some really famous object. And he's still getting stuff. Alright, good, he started mysterious construction. Because if it just randomizes what he needs. Usually it's like common stuff, but if you request something random, like lizard tongue, just for example, I don't even know if that's in the game, but just like, let's say lizard bone, he to make for like a handle of like a weapon he's made. If he doesn't have that lizard bone, he's just gonna stay in there until he either dies or goes insane. And if he goes insane, he just goes around attacking everybody he sees, and you're gonna have to stop him somehow with your military or traps or anything. And once that happens, he's out. He's pretty much dead and useless. Or even worse, like sometimes they'll just get really depressed and walk around and hide in their room until they die. And either way, you just want to hope that if this happens, you have what they want. So anyway, back to the trading. And he's digging right now. And we'll just follow him until he gets there. And that guy following him is the Leelson, I think it's pronounced. And that means he's basically just gonna like eventually, once the traders leave, he's gonna talk to him and be like, "So what do you want us to bring?" And we'll tell you what we want. So I'll show you when he actually says it, which might not, which actually sometimes happens way later on for some reason. But in case I don't show you in this video, what basically happens is that he says there's like a list that you can look at, and you can scroll through every item in the game, or that'll be available, and you can raise the priority or lower it. So if you raise the priority, merchants are more likely to bring it, but it's going to cost more. So if you really need something, you would raise the priority. And then after that, he'll say, it'll just like show a random, okay, well now he finished a thing. He created a crown, so nothing too special, but sometimes they make awesome weapons. But anyway, as I was saying, then he'll show you a list of what the merchants want. And if you make these items for them, then you can sell them for a higher price than normal, which is really nice. But usually it's just, you don't need to focus on that. It's just that if you're lucky and you happen to be making what they want, then that's more money. So I don't know where oh, he's still digging. You know what, I'm just gonna not let him dig anymore. Is that the expedition leader? I don't know. Now they're eating. This is big annoyance, is that they just spend as much time trying to do nothing as possible. And for sure Dwarf can't catch anything. Okay, now here's the Leosin. Now he's gonna conduct the meeting. Oh no, actually he's gonna trade first. So now that he's at the trade depot, we just hit T to trade, and now, oh, whoops. What we gotta do is move goods, all the goods that we made. So we hit G, and this shows everything we made. So we're gonna scroll down to crafts, and here's everything we made. Now normally these should be in bins, like right here. There'd be like 10 things in here, but they decided to not put the things in the bin, so it sucks, but we're gonna have to have each thing individually brought over. Oh my god. Make sure you make bins. I forgot to make them. Oh my god. Okay, really? Oh no. Now, this is why you want bins, because all this could have been in just like 5 or 10 things. I could have just selected them and that's it. And I wouldn't be wasting my dwarf's time. So that's going to take a long time to all that get hauled over. But in the meantime, I started the clothing industry down here, or the textile industry. I've been growing pigtails here, which is pretty much, instead of being used as food, pigtails are used to make cloth. And once you harvest them, you just process them at the farmer's workshop. So we'll just let that happen a few times, just actually repeat until you can't anymore. And then once it's into thread, it gets woven at the loom, and then you can make stuff at the clothier shop. So just to show you, because we're gonna need some bags, so cloth bags. Just make as many bags as I can. And bags are used to hold all sorts of things, so they're really helpful to have. All these dwarves are bringing stuff, when they should have been in this pile right here, but they're not, so it sucks. Oh, and winter struck, so these ponds might be freezing over soon, which means I can't catch anything. If I need water, I won't have any. But there's ways around that. Alright, well, we have no more pigtails. Still bringing all that stuff up. Ugh. Alright, anyway, we should have some stuff there right now, so I'll just show you how it works. Where'd the trader go? He's getting a drink. Right there, drinking on the job. Oh, now where's he going? Oh, now he's hauling stuff? Really? Yeah, you dwarves are just so stupid. Oh, that's right. Some more migrants came, by the way, so I'm going to assign the animals they brought to the field. Just basically, if you see anything that's big, like a donkey, a mule, they're going to need the open space. All these chicks and... Alright, that's everything. Okay, here we go. Now we can trade. This is what happens. All of the stuff on the right is everything that you own. So there's all this stuff. And those little things that look like stars, that's pretty much the currency that's used in this game. So this is worth 120 Dwarf bucks is what it's called. So we're just going to highlight everything. Once again, normally if you had these in bins, this could be a lot easier because you could just trade the whole bin, which is lot easier. But we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. And just select everything. Alright, so the total export value is right here. And the merchant, he wants to make money. So you can select things over here that you're going to get. So the trader profit is how much money he's going to get. I like to give him at least like 30% profit, which means like 2100, so I'm probably going to give him like 400 profit, because if you take away too much profit, he's going to say, no, I'm not going to trade. And just to be safe, I might make it even less. Because if you make bad offers too many times, he's just going to refuse to trade and leave, and then you get nothing. So as you look through everything, there's certain things you want to get, and other things you don't want to get. Like a glass, you can't do too much with unless you have a good source, and you need either a lot of coal or a volcano for that to be effective, I think. So there's a rope here, might as well get a few of those. So, and then you can buy flutes, which would be useless, so you gotta watch out for those things. And toys, puzzle boxes, those things are supposed to be selling. We might as well get a goose for only 30. Now these are what you really want, the booze. Pine barrel. LL. So yeah, we got some free, well, not free, but some easy booze. So a steel pick we can get. But it doesn't really make a difference. A copper pick is fine. So we'll see. If we can get a copper pick, we might pick one up. So you can get random bars of metal, reindeer leather, pigtail feather shoe. I mean, I don't usually get too much. I just try to get food, booze, and cloth and leather, unless I'm looking for something specific. Well, actually, gypsum plaster is nice for the medical industry, because it's hard to get gypsum. So we'll get some wheat, flour, which is a great source of food, some sweet pod seeds, can't have too many seeds, and we'll get a cloth bin. Just one, because cloth is expensive. But leather is nice and cheap, so I like to get a lot of that. But sometimes they don't have too much leather, but it's alright. They always bring a lot of cloth and leather. Okay, down here we have steel anvils. Yeah, I don't think we have enough money to get another anvil. We don't really need one. And then here's all the food. Yeah, I'll get 100 worth of food. We have enough plump helmets. Just backpacks and random stuff. And then cheese at the bottom. Let's get a thing of cheese. Alright, so let's hopefully he accepts it. We hit T to trade. Oh, and he says no. So now we're gonna have to deselect things. So what we don't need is that cloth bin, because we're actually making cloth. I just thought we can get away with it. So we're gonna get rid of that. And he gets 1,000 Dwarf bucks, so he'd be a fool to refuse this. Yeah, ah, wonderful. Thank you for your business. And he's even pleased. So I don't know if that actually does anything. So now we don't really need the trader anymore. No trader needed at depot. We'll hit R, and he'll go back to doing stuff. So we'll send him back to mining. And that is how you trade. So I hope you learned a lot from this video. It's going to be a big one. I'm going to have to try to edit it down. But anyway, thanks for watching.